never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on.
The interview that put all of the Bill Belichick relationship drama on a stage. Up until Bill Belichick on it was Sunday, right? Because it was CBS Sunday mornings on Sunday. Up until that interview ran and the video started going viral of his 20-something-year-old girlfriend Jordon Hudson jumping into the interview and saying we're not going to talk about that. Up until that video, I think a lot of not just Tar Heel fans but sports fans were doing everything they could to not make a big deal out of Bill Belichick's relationship. There was a lot of like maybe in the back of your brain thinking this is strange, but you would say out loud like, "Hey man, whatever he does in his private life is his private life." Right? He's a football coach to me. He's not my not my dad or whatever it is. And then that interview happened and it seemed like everybody went, "All right, we got to talk about it. All right, this we got to that. Why is she there? Why is she stopping the interview? How involved is she? This is past the point of no return now."
Especially since we saw a few weeks back the emails that popped out about I don't want Steve Belichick to be referred to as Bill's son.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's having influence on that. It's like, oh, okay, like you're not on the payroll with the university, so why do you have say?
Here's the thing that I think is most jarring. Bill Belichick isn't acting like himself, which is crazy because Bill Belichick was the most, for like most of my sports fandom, he was the most you're not going to change me guy in sports, right? And no matter how many times he got crucified by the media for not answering questions or being gruff, he was just, you weren't going to change him. Tom Brady wanted him to change, and he ran Tom Brady out of New England. He won that strong arm against Tom Brady. And yet somehow this is happening and he doesn't seem like himself. Now, I will, and I feel like this is part of the story, I will say it, women can do that to some people. Right? When you get in a relationship, sometimes guys change and sometimes they don't realize it or they're caught up. It happens. Anecdotally, the story I have is one of my buddies. I won't name his name or anything like that. I can tell you this. He was athlete, college. One day he invites us to his dance performance. And not like, powder puff cheerleading, we're doing it for charity, like a lady that we all knew, another student, invited him to be her dance partner for her final performance at her dance class. And he was, at the time, smitten with this young woman. And probably if she said, like, I need you to jump out of an airplane for my class, he would have been like, absolutely. The real kicker was she had a boyfriend that went to another school and was at the performance with us, sitting right next to, in the friends section, watching them do the rumba or whatever, or the waltz, whatever it ended up being. And years later, we were sitting around and he had gotten over the girl. And we were like, whoa, remember when you had us come to a dance recital? And he was like, yeah, not my proudest moment. Not even a good dancer, by the way. I don't know why she asked him. Probably because she knew he would say yes. But my point is, it's like those Snickers commercials. You don't act like yourself when you're hungry. Sometimes you don't act like yourself when you're in love, right? When you're in that honeymoon phase, which maybe he is, right? Maybe he is. The rest of it doesn't make any sense. She's helping him with his media presence, helping him promote a book. Why would he lean on a 24-year-old for media advice when he has quite literally significantly more than 24 years of experience dealing with the media?
He even worked in the media last year when he wasn't coaching.
It's pretty outlandish, right? Because I get it, and we see it in this business all the time, right? You bring in the person fresh out of college to Work on your our social media manager here is App State grad. Shout out. She's younger and she gets it. And when she starts talking about some of the analytics of social media, heck, I'm in my 30s and even I'm like, you're speaking gibberish, right? She just was brought up in it. So I would get that, right? Bringing someone younger to understand social media because it's a generational thing. But Bill Belichick doesn't need it. Bill Belichick doesn't, and he knows he doesn't need it. Has anybody followed Jim Larrañaga, the coach, the basketball coach from Miami that quit midseason? I am fascinated by what Jim Larrañaga is doing on social media. Since he quit, retired, whatever you want to call it, on Miami, he just tweets out randomly, true story, and then a notes app of a story from his college career, from his college coaching career. Hey, this one time I was picking up a recruit for an official visit, and as we were driving out, a dog bit his hand, and we ran over a dog, and this is like quite literally one of his stories. And the mom was very worried, and we said, don't worry, at our university, we have the best hand doctors in the world. Got him stitched up. He committed by the end of the visit. And it's like, what? But it's just him telling stories from his career. One time, a star player had an injured ankle, and one of the trainers had a lake house, and it was middle of the winter. Trainer had the idea, hey, let's get him to the lake house. Let's sit him on the edge of the dock and put his ankles in the freezing cold lake water. That'll get and he went, and it worked, and he played and had 16 points. True story, Jim Larrañaga. If Bill Belichick just did that, just notes app, typed up, screenshot, sent it out, stories about Lawrence Taylor, stories about Gronk, stories about coaching in Cleveland, it would go bananas promotional for his book. He doesn't need a 24-year-old, which is where I think it gets to football. He doesn't need anyone telling him anything about football either.
No, he doesn't.
I bet UNC fans are getting to the point where they're going, if he doesn't need any help in media, but she's working her way in anyway. How long till she's working her way into other stuff he doesn't need any help? And I'm not saying he doesn't need any help specifically from her. I'm saying he doesn't need any help from anybody when it comes to getting messages out. He's Bill Belichick. He doesn't need any help scheming up a defense, recruiting, doing anything like that. He's Bill Belichick. But that didn't stop her in other forms of decision-making, right? She's deciding what questions he answers in an interview. Rather than, and he put out a statement saying it was all it wasn't.
CBS put in a statement out first, by the way.
There was no, CBS wouldn't agree, but CBS Sunday morning. Right?
Yeah.
Because he was saying, I only want to talk football and about the football context of the book. It's CBS Sunday. This isn't like NFL matchup with Ron Jaworski. The CBS is going, we don't care about the football. We don't need to hear how you schemed up a blitz in the Super Bowl. We want to hear about your creative muse. That's what you called her in the book. So they wouldn't have agreed to it, and they wouldn't, just from journalistic practices, wouldn't agree to it. But she's sitting there, calling it shut. Why would he lean on a 24-year-old for advice in media? And if he's doing that, why wouldn't he? I mean, how soon till Jordon Hudson is going, actually, we've switched to the nickel when they come out in 4 wide. Just like she's actually, we're not answering that question. How long? We're going to get the extra defensive back on the field anytime it's 2nd and 8 or more. That's what the worry is. Because part of me still says, personal life, who cares? But it's starting to creep into the parts that we cover. It's starting to creep into a coach's brand and reputation, which in college sports, your brand and reputation is recruiting, it's fundraising, it's everything else. It matters. And it's starting to creep in, I think, into worries about the football. And
like you said, he's become the distraction. For a guy that always preached, do your job, don't be a distraction. Preached it nonstop for years. Now he himself has become that.
Mm-hmm. And near the top of the list of guys I wouldn't have expected this to happen to.
That's what makes it so shocking.
It really is.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah, what is it now? Like, we're on to Instagram stories. We're not posting anymore. We're on to the stories. That's where the engagement is. What? I'm watching. I can't take my eyes off it. I'm gonna be reading every article. Just let you know. I know about her real estate investments of the last couple of years because an article came out in the New York Post, and I was like, clicking that. Gonna read that whole thing. I can't take my eyes off it. She owns a bunch of multifamily homes in New England. I don't care at all what she owns. I don't care if he paid for it. I don't care. But I'm gonna read the article. I'll tell you that much.